Admiral Sarah Chen leaned against the curved window of the International Space Station's observation deck, her eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars. 20 years of space service hadn't dulled her appreciation for the view, but today something was different. The stars were shifting. At first, she thought it was space debris catching the sunlight, but the phenomenon spread across her field of vision like ripples in a pond. The space-time distortion grew until it split open, revealing vessels unlike anything human eyes had witnessed before. Their crystalline structures caught and reflected sunlight in prismatic arrays, turning the space around them into a dance of colors. "Station Control, are you seeing this?" Chen's voice remained steady despite her racing heart. The response came through with uncharacteristic hesitation. "Affirmative, Admiral. We're tracking 5 vessels, approximately 2 kilometers in length each. They're holding position at the L1 Lagrange point." Chen watched as smaller crystalline shuttles detached from the larger ships, their movements precise and deliberate. Her tablet chimed with incoming data from Earth's combined sensor network. The vessel's energy signatures were off the charts, yet they made no aggressive moves. The first transmission arrived through all communication channels simultaneously, translating itself into every human language. "We are the Zenturian Expedition Fleet. We come seeking humanity's assistance. The fate of the galaxy may depend on your response." In the next 20 minutes, Shen found herself hosting the first alien delegation aboard the ISS. The Zenturians moved with liquid grace despite their crystalline appearance. Their leader, who introduced himself as Archive Speaker Lux, resembled a being carved from living diamond. "Admiral Chen." Lux's voice resonated with harmonic undertones. "Our scanners detected energy signatures matching ancient superweapons scattered across your planet. Yet we observed no matching technology. This is unprecedented." Chen studied the holographic display Lux projected, showing energy hotspots across Earth. The patterns looked strangely familiar. These readings, she gestured to a cluster over Asia. They shift with the population centers. Precisely. Lux's crystalline form rippled with what Chen interpreted as concern. "The weapons we seek were created by a civilization that vanished 50,000 years ago. They were known as the Architects, and their technologies reshaped galaxies." The station's sensors chimed again. More ships were arriving. Not Centurion this time. These vessels looked organic, their surfaces rippling like dark water. Chen's tablet identified energy weapons powering up. "The Nexus Collective." Lux's voice carried new harmonics of worry. "They seek the weapons for less benevolent purposes. Admiral Chen, we need humanity's help to locate these devices before they fall into wrong hands." Chen looked at the energy map again, a theory forming in her mind. "Archive Speaker Lux. These signatures, they're not static, are they? They change with human activity." "You are most perceptive, Admiral." "Yes, they fluctuate constantly." Chen straightened her uniform, a habit from decades of service. "Then I don't think you're looking for devices at all. Whatever you're detecting, it's connected to us, to humanity itself." The crystalline being's surface shimmered with what might have been surprise. Above them, the Nexus Collective's ships moved into attack formation, their intentions clear. Humanity's first day among the stars was about to become very interesting indeed. Dr. Sarah Martinez rubbed her tired eyes as she studied the holographic display for the 100th time. The Zenturian energy scanner filled her lab at the Planetary Defense Research Center with a soft, purple glow. 3 days had passed since first contact, and the Nexus Collective's ships continued their silent vigil beyond Mars orbit. "Run the comparison again," she instructed her AI assistant. "But this time, overlay the temporal data from the creativity studies we did last year." The hologram shifted, and Sarah's breath caught in her throat. The energy patterns from the scanner perfectly matched the brainwave signatures of artists and inventors during their moments of inspiration. Every spike, every fluctuation aligned with instances of human creative breakthrough. Her hands trembled as she initiated a video call to Admiral Chen aboard the ISS. "Admiral, I found something. The energy signatures the Zenturians are tracking. They're not weapons at all. They're us. The Admiral's hologram flickered to life. Archive speaker Lux's crystalline form visible behind her. Explain, Doctor. Sarah projected her findings into the shared space. These patterns match human brainwave activity during moments of innovation and creativity. But here's the fascinating part. The energy output is thousands of times stronger than our instruments can detect. We've been blind to our own potential. Lux moved closer to the display, his crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. Impossible. No biological species has ever generated quantum-level consciousness fields. The energy requirements alone. A notification flashed across Sarah's screen. Another surge in the readings. Look at this. It's happening again. She pulled up a live feed from Tokyo, where a young street artist was creating a mural. The painting seemed to shimmer with its own inner light, and spectators reported feeling emotions radiating from the artwork. Similar incidents are being reported globally, Admiral Chen noted, scrolling through incoming reports. A composer in Vienna created music that listeners say they can see. A sculptor in Brazil shaped clay that maintains impossible forms. Lux's surface rippled with what Sarah had learned to recognize as excitement. The ancient texts spoke of weapons that could reshape reality itself. We assumed they were devices, but what if? He paused, crystals chiming softly. What if the architects didn't build superweapons at all? What if they built you? Sarah's monitor erupted with new alerts. The Nexus Collective was moving, their ships accelerating toward Earth. But something else caught her attention. The energy readings around her lab were intensifying. She looked down at her own hands, noticing for the first time the faint luminescence surrounding them. Her mind raced with possibilities, equations and theories flowing faster than ever before. Admiral, I think their presence, their technology, it's acting as a catalyst. Whatever was dormant in our DNA is waking up. Dr. Martinez, Lux's voice carried new harmonics of awe. Your species isn't hosting the weapons. You are the weapons. The architects encoded their legacy into your very beings, waiting for the right moment in your evolution. Through the lab's window, Sarah watched the evening sky light up with aurora-like patterns as the Nexus fleet approached. Humanity's hidden potential was awakening, but would it emerge fast enough to face the coming storm? The classroom fell silent as 8-year-old Emily Chen solved the complex quantum equation that had stumped leading physicists for decades. Her small hand moved across the floating holographic display with confident strokes, mapping out solutions that shouldn't have been possible for any human mind to comprehend. Dr. Martinez watched from the observation room, accompanied by a team of Zenturian researchers. In the 3 weeks since first contact, similar phenomena had appeared worldwide. Children were demonstrating impossible abilities, artists were creating works that defied physical laws, and scientists were having breakthroughs that rewrote the foundations of physics. Another alpha-level manifestation, noted Lux, his crystalline form humming with excitement. That's the 15th today. The progression is accelerating. Sarah checked her tablet, reviewing the global data. It's not just children. Look at this. She pulled up footage from a retirement home in Sydney, where an elderly painter's landscapes were becoming windows to other worlds. Viewers could reach out and feel the warm breeze from her painted meadows. The building shuddered as another Nexus probe attempted to penetrate Earth's newly established defense field. The shield, powered by the combined consciousness of awakened humans, had so far held firm. The genetic markers are activating faster than predicted, Sarah observed, studying Emily's neural scans. Your presence is catalyzing changes that should have taken thousands of years. Lux's surface rippled with concern. This was not our intent. The architect's failsafes should have prevented such rapid awakening. Unless his crystalline form pulsed with sudden understanding. Unless this was their plan all along. Emily looked up from her equation, her eyes glowing with a subtle inner light. They're coming, she said, her voice carrying harmonics similar to Zenturian speech. The ones who tried to stop the architects. They know we're awakening. Alarms blared throughout the facility. Sarah's tablet displayed multiple breach attempts in Earth's orbit. The Nexus Collective had doubled their efforts to break through. "Dr. Martinez," Emily called out, her voice carrying an authority beyond her years. "I understand now. The equations aren't just math. They're keys." Her hands moved through the air, leaving trails of light that formed complex geometric patterns. The architects didn't hide their weapons in our DNA. They hid the blueprint for evolution itself. Lux moved closer to the observation window, his crystalline form resonating with the patterns Emily was creating. Of course, the weapons were never meant to destroy. They were meant to transform. Sarah watched as Emily's floating equations began to intersect with the room's Zenturian technology, creating new forms of energy they'd never seen before. Around the world, similar connections were forming as humanity's awakening abilities interacted with alien science in unexpected ways. "We need to gather them all," Sarah decided, already sending out global alerts to identified awakened individuals. If Emily's right, we're not just random mutations. We're part of a larger design. Outside, the sky turned iridescent as more Nexus ships entered the solar system. Humanity's transformation was reaching a critical point, but would their emerging powers be enough to face what was coming? The answer, Sarah suspected, would reshape not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The ancient star map floated in the center of the United Nations Assembly, its holographic lights casting ethereal shadows across the faces of Earth's representatives and their alien guests. Dr. Martinez stood at the podium, her own DNA sequence projected beside the map, highlighting sequences that shouldn't exist in any natural evolution. "The evidence is undeniable," she addressed the silent chamber. "These genetic markers perfectly align with the architect's navigation beacons. They didn't just visit Earth 50,000 years ago. They chose us as their successors." Admiral Chen stepped forward, her uniform now bearing both Earth and Zenturian insignias. "The architects embedded their knowledge like a time capsule in our genetic code. Each marker corresponds to a specific technological or cognitive advancement. They designed us to unlock these abilities gradually, ensuring we'd have the wisdom to use them responsibly." A murmur swept through the assembly as Lux projected new data beside Sarah's findings. The crystalline being's form pulsed with intense light as he spoke. "Our presence has disrupted the intended timeline. The quantum resonance from our technology has accelerated your species' development by approximately 15,000 years." On the massive screens behind them, live feeds showed the effects of this acceleration. In Mumbai, a young engineer shaped solid metal with her thoughts. A Brazilian farmer's emotions affected crop growth rates across entire fields. Children in Lagos developed a new form of mathematics that could map consciousness itself. "But there's more," Sarah continued, expanding the star map. "These genetic markers don't just contain scientific knowledge. They hold star charts, histories, and warnings. The architects foresaw the return of something they called the Void Dancers, the same beings now known as the Nexus Collective." The assembly erupted in concerned whispers as tactical displays showed the growing Nexus fleet. Their dark ships now numbered in the hundreds, forming a sphere around Earth's solar system. Emily Chen, now recognized as the first of the fully awakened, stepped onto the stage. At 8 years old, she moved with the gravity of someone who carried millennia of inherited wisdom. "The architects didn't fail or vanish," she announced, her voice carrying impossible harmonics. "They became us. They distributed their consciousness across thousands of generations of human DNA, hiding from the Void Dancers in plain sight." Lux's crystalline form resonated with her words. The weapons they spoke of in their warnings, they were never meant for destruction. They were tools of creation, of evolution itself. Your species carries the complete library of their civilization within your genes. Sarah brought up the latest global scans. The awakening is spreading exponentially. Within days, every human on Earth will begin manifesting abilities. We're not just receiving knowledge, we're becoming something entirely new. The assembly hall's lights flickered as another wave of Nexus attacks tested Earth's defenses. But this time, something was different. The defense field wasn't just holding. It was growing stronger, adapting with each attack. Emily raised her hand, creating a miniature galaxy of light. The architects gave us everything we need to survive what's coming. But first, we have to remember who we really are. The star map pulsed in response to her words, revealing new layers of information that had waited 50,000 years to be seen. The real awakening was just beginning. Michael Santos hovered 3 feet above the Saharan sand, solar energy crackling around his form like a second skin. 2 weeks into his awakening, and his powers had already exceeded the projected growth charts. He wasn't alone. Across the globe, thousands of humans were developing abilities that defied the architect's careful genetic timetable. "You need to slow down." Dr. Martinez's hologram flickered in the desert air before him. "Your cellular structure can't handle this level of acceleration." The safeguards were designed to activate over generations, not days. Michael let out a laugh that rippled the sand dunes around him. "Look what I can do, Sarah." He gestured, and a massive pyramid of glass rose from the desert floor, its crystalline structure catching the sunlight in impossible ways. Why should we wait? The Nexus Collective isn't waiting. In orbit, Admiral Chen watched the exchange from the New Earth defense platform. Beside her, Lux's crystalline form pulsed with concern. "We've identified 300 others like him," the Admiral reported. "Their powers are growing too fast, pushing beyond the established safety limits." The architects foresaw this possibility. Lux responded, projecting data streams that sparkled like diamond dust. They called it the Icarus Protocol. When individuals advance too quickly and risk burning out their entire genetic line. On the surface, Michael's display of power continued. The glass pyramid now floated alongside dozens of other impossible structures. Each creation pushed him further from human baseline, his DNA rewriting itself at a dangerous pace. Emily Chen appeared beside him, her small form walking calmly across the air. "You're hurting yourself," she said simply. The knowledge wasn't meant to be taken. It was meant to be earned. "We don't have time for earning it." Michael turned to her, his eyes now glowing with intense energy. "The Void Dancers are coming. I can feel them at the edge of our system, gathering their forces. We need to be ready." Sarah's hologram stepped closer. "Ready doesn't mean reckless. Look at your latest scans." She projected his cellular structure, showing the increasing instability. "Your power isn't stabilizing. It's consuming you." In orbit, alarm systems blared. Admiral Chen watched in horror as Michael's energy signature began to cascade. "He's reaching critical threshold. If he burns out, the genetic damage could spread to others sharing his markers." Lux finished, creating a chain reaction. Back in the desert, Emily raised her hand toward Michael. Other awakened humans appeared around them, their combined consciousness reaching out to stabilize his runaway evolution. "The architects gave us these gifts to unite us." Emily's voice carried the wisdom of ages, not to stand alone. Michael felt their energy connecting with his, transforming chaos into harmony. The wild power that had threatened to consume him began to settle into ordered patterns. His feet touched the sand for the first time in days. "I understand now," he whispered, looking at his trembling hands. The glass structures he created began to sink back into the desert, returning to their natural state. "We're not meant to be individual weapons." Emily smiled, taking his hand. "No, we're meant to be something far more powerful. A family." Above them, the stars shifted as more Nexus ships emerged from hyperspace. The real test of humanity's awakening was about to begin. The global consciousness network lit up like a neural map across Dr. Martinez's holographic display. From her position in the Himalayan Nexus hub, she watched as millions of awakened humans connected their abilities in ways that defied conventional science. "It's beautiful," Lux observed, his crystalline form resonating with the harmonic frequencies generated by the network. Each human consciousness forms a unique pattern, yet they interlock perfectly. Even the architects never achieved this level of synchronization. Sarah zoomed in on various nodes across the globe. In Australia, a group of awakened weather sensitives worked in concert with agricultural empaths to restore damaged ecosystems. Across Europe, healing collectives joined their abilities to cure diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Off the coast of Japan, marine communicators established the first meaningful dialogue with Earth's cetacean population. The powers aren't random, Sarah noted, marking patterns in the data. Each person's abilities complement others in their region. It's as if the architects designed humanity like a living puzzle. Emily Chen appeared on the platform beside them, her projected form now carrying traces of the same crystalline properties as their Zenturian allies. They did more than that, she said, reaching out to touch the holographic streams. They designed us to surpass them. The network pulsed with new energy as another group came online. In Brazil, a cluster of technological sensitives had begun interfacing directly with Zenturian crystals, creating hybrid systems that neither species could achieve alone. Admiral Chen's urgent transmission cut through their observations. The Nexus fleet is making its move. They've begun targeting the network nodes. Sarah watched as dark ships appeared over major population centers. But instead of panic, she saw something remarkable. In each threatened location, awakened humans with different abilities automatically organized into defense clusters. Telekinetics created shields while energy manipulators powered them. Spatial warpers worked with quantum mathematicians to bend attack vectors away from populated areas. The network, Emily smiled. It's not just connecting our powers. It's teaching us how to work together instinctively. Lux's form brightened with understanding. The architects didn't just give you their knowledge. They gave you their greatest lesson, one they learned too late. True power comes from unity, not individual strength. A massive surge registered in the network as awakened humans across South America joined their consciousness. Their combined abilities turned the entire Amazon rainforest into a single living defense system. The Nexus ships over Brazil retreated, unable to comprehend or counter the level of coordination they encountered. Every attack they launch, Sarah observed, forces us to discover new ways to work together. We're not just connecting powers, we're evolving as a species in real time. The holographic display shifted, showing similar defensive networks forming across every continent. Each one unique, yet perfectly complementary to its neighbors. Humanity wasn't just surviving the crisis. They were transforming through it. Emily's form glowed brighter as she connected to the growing network. The architects gave us the tools. But this, she gestured to the beautiful tapestry of human consciousness before them. This is purely human. We took their gift of individual potential and turned it into something they never imagined. Above them, the Nexus fleet regrouped for another attack, unaware that each assault only strengthened the very power they sought to destroy. The solar storm appeared without warning, a massive wall of plasma and electromagnetic energy that dwarfed anything in recorded history. From the Earth defense platform, Admiral Chen watched as the Zenturian sensors registered readings far beyond their established scales. This is no natural phenomenon. Lux's crystalline form pulsed with urgent harmonics. The Nexus Collective has weaponized your son. We must begin evacuation procedures immediately. Dr. Martinez's hologram appeared on the command deck, her expression unexpectedly calm. No, look at the network. She projected the global consciousness grid, which was shifting into new configurations they'd never seen before. Across Earth, awakened humans were responding to the threat instinctively. In Tibet, high-energy sensitives gathered in ancient temples, their combined consciousness reaching toward the sky. Along the equator, quantum architects began weaving complex mathematical shields into the fabric of reality itself. They're not running, Emily Chen observed from her position in the Australian outback, where she led a cluster of young awakened. They're synchronizing. The solar storm raced toward Earth, carrying enough energy to strip away the atmosphere. But as it approached, something extraordinary happened. Millions of awakened humans joined their consciousness into a single purpose. Weather manipulators worked with energy converters. Spatial warpers coordinated with gravitational sensitives. Impossible, Lux whispered, his crystalline surface reflecting the unfolding miracle. They're creating a planetary defense system that even the architects only theorized about. The network pulsed with unprecedented power as every awakened human contributed their unique abilities. Michael Santos, now fully recovered, led a group that transformed the deadly solar energy into sustainable power. The Australian Consciousness Cluster redirected the electromagnetic pulses into Earth's protective magnetic field, strengthening it. Admiral, Sarah's voice carried notes of wonder. We're not just defending against the storm. We're using it. The data streams confirmed her observation. Each wave of solar energy that struck Earth's new defensive field was absorbed, converted, and redistributed through the network. The planet's awakened population had turned an extinction-level event into the largest power transfer in human history. The architect's final test, Emily realized, her young voice carrying ancient understanding. They knew we'd face this choice, run or stand together. Above them, the Nexus fleet watched in confusion as their ultimate weapon transformed into humanity's greatest triumph. The consciousness network had grown beyond Earth's atmosphere, creating a living shield that encased the entire planet in a field of unified human potential. Admiral Chen received reports from every continent. Instead of chaos and destruction, the crisis had catalyzed humanity's greatest leap forward. They tried to use our sun against us, she noted with a slight smile. They never considered we might learn to use it better than they could. Lux's form resonated with the same frequencies now emanating from Earth's population. We came seeking the architect's weapons, he said softly. Instead, we witnessed the birth of their successors. The solar storm continued to rage, but Earth no longer faced it alone. Humanity had chosen to stand its ground, and in doing so, had discovered a power greater than any weapon. The strength of millions of minds working as one. From the command deck, they watched as the converted solar energy began to flow back through the network, preparing for humanity's response to those who had sought to destroy them. The Nexus Collective's dark ships hung motionless in space, their organic forms rippling with uncertainty as they faced something unprecedented. Earth glowed with a soft, iridescent light, the unified consciousness of billions creating patterns that mirrored the complexity of galaxies. From the Earth Defense Platform, Dr. Martinez watched alongside Admiral Chen and their Zenturian allies as humanity prepared to share rather than destroy. Send the invitation again, Sarah instructed, her voice carrying the collective decision of the network. Emily Chen, now serving as humanity's primary interface with other species, stepped forward. The space around her shimmered with possibility as she transmitted the offer of peace directly into the minds of the Void Dancers. We understand now. Her voice carried across space itself, enhanced by millions of awakened humans. You fought the architects because they tried to force evolution. We choose a different path. Through the network, humanity reached out not with weapons, but with the gift of transformation. The same abilities that had defended Earth now offered to heal the cosmic wounds left by ancient wars. Remarkable, Lux observed as the first Nexus ship cautiously accepted the connection. You're teaching them what the architects themselves failed to learn. The power of chosen change over forced advancement. The effect rippled through the Nexus fleet. Their ship's organic surfaces began to pulse with new patterns, reflecting the harmony they were learning from humanity's shared consciousness. The very beings who had come to destroy Earth were being transformed by its gift of unity. Michael Santos, working with a global team of energy sensitives, helped establish the first stable bridge between human and Void Dancer consciousness. Their isolation was their prison, he reported, his voice filled with compassion. They fought evolution because they experienced it alone. Sarah's instruments recorded the historic moment as the Nexus Collective joined the growing network of consciousness. Their unique abilities, born from darkness and survival, began to harmonize with humanity's light. The architects seeded Earth with potential. Admiral Chen mused, watching as the combined fleet of human, Zenturian, and Nexus ships created a new formation around their solar system. But the real gift wasn't the powers they gave us. It was our ability to share them. Emily nodded, her young face reflecting wisdom beyond ages. They couldn't imagine their weapons would become teachers, that their tools of war would forge peace. Across Earth, awakened humans continued to discover new abilities, but now they developed in harmony with other species. The global consciousness network expanded into an interstellar web of shared growth and understanding. "We're receiving requests from across the galaxy," Sarah announced, her displays lighting up with signals from countless civilizations. They all want to learn. Lux's crystalline form resonated with joy. "The age of isolation is ending. You've shown us all a new way to evolve. Together." As the sun rose over Earth one more time, its light caught the crystalline structures now orbiting the planet. Schools, research centers, and meeting places where humans taught other species the art of unified consciousness. The weapons vault the Zenturians had sought turned out to be something far more precious, a blueprint for universal harmony. Humanity had transformed from inheritors of ancient power into teachers of a new way forward, proving that the greatest force in the universe wasn't the ability to destroy or control, but the choice to share and grow together. The next chapter in galactic history had begun, written not in conflict, but in cooperation.